33 left, position and hold.
Position and hold, 33 left, speed left, 33 ahead.
Morning, Tower, give us 62, ILS 21 right.
Triple 52, Kennedy, clear land, 31 right, wind 29012.
Clear land, definitely.
Comair 257, turn right heading 180.
180, heading center 257.
Flagship 2884, turn left heading 330.
American 20 and 99, traffic approach 128.5.
28.5, American 29.
Mike Elm, Zulu, clear to land, runway 30, hold short of runway 25, departing traffic, wind 300.
Clear to land 30, hold short 25, Mike Elm, Zulu.
Get in 3457, Air Canada 4544.
Tower Comair 182, visual 33 left.
So 1787, contact Boston, departure. 1787. Comair 182 Boston Tower, wind 320 at 24, gust 33, runway 33 left, clear to land. Upon regional 10 on a 3-mile final, will be departure by your route.
Clear to land, Comair 182, good left.
Air Canada 695, additional traffic here, 1130 for 6 miles is a Beach 1900. Just making the turn at Wazzy here, and level 9000.
We're going on the fish point here, Canada 695. Maintain 10,000 cross Wazzy level.
Maintain 10,000 cross Wazzy level, speed 93 will do.
Allocated G18-194 at the Bristol Airplane Company on the 17th of March, 1955, Bristol freighter NZ5912 was delivered to the Royal New Zealand Air Force later that same month. As a footnote, this was the last 170 delivered to the New Zealand Air Force. Upon arrival at Whanuapai from the United Kingdom on the 31st of March, she was allocated to No. 41 Squadron. NZ5912 was purchased as a replacement for NZ5905, which had been sold to SAFE and was registered as ZKBEO. After just 2 years with the Royal New Zealand Air Force, she too was loaned to SAFE in December of 1957 and registered as ZKBVI. In March 1958, just 4 months later, she was returned to the Royal New Zealand Air Force. NZ5912 had her final flight after spending more than 20 years with the Royal New Zealand Air Force on the 14th of December, 1977. In 1978, NZ5912 was bought by Dwen Airmotive, based at Ardmore, just south of Auckland, and was registered as ZKEPH. After just 3 years with them, it was sold to Instone Airlines in the UK and registered as GBISU, where she plied her trade throughout Great Britain. In 1988, GBISU was sold to Transprovincial Airlines of Terrace, British Columbia, Canada, and was re-registered as C-FDFC. DFC was put to work right away, hauling mining equipment throughout the rugged mountains of British Columbia, Canada. 1993 saw the ceasing of operations of Transprovincial Airlines and the grounding of the entire fleet, including all 3 Bristol freighters. A bidding war over the 3 TPA Bristol freighters soon began. The 2 front-runners were a consortium of former TPA employees, known as Hawk Air, and a group of British Airways employees who were ultimately the successful bidders. The new owners contacted Hawk Air and hired them to restore DFC back into airworthy condition, as the plane had now been grounded for over a year. The UK consortium wanted to return the plane back to the UK because they wanted to use it as a showpiece throughout England at air shows and fly-ins throughout the country. With a mixed crew of UK and Hawk Air members, the plane was readied in September of 1994 for its transition across the North American continent, followed by a transatlantic crossing back to the United Kingdom.
I'm Paul Hawkins, an aircraft engineer, and I was fortunate enough to be part of the last Bristol freighter flight to England. This is the story of our trip from the beautiful snow-capped mountains of my adopted British Columbia, across the vast expanses of the Canadian prairies and over the Great Lakes of eastern Canada, back over the North Atlantic to my native England, and finally into London's famous Heathrow Airport. This is the story of my flight in DFC. Our crew consisted of John Duncan, Malcolm Cutter, Steve Gilbert, Tim Duncan, Dave Menzies, and myself, Paul Hawkins.
After spending almost 4 months getting her back into an airworthy condition and having completed numerous engine run-ups and test flights with the English ownership group, DFC was ready for her long journey home.
VOR head, and one of the little nylon gear wheels is stripped. The thing's only about half an inch across. Just trying to see if we can get it going, because otherwise we're going to have a real radio problem. There's a couple of silly 748s over there.
Arriving at their first destination of Winnipeg, Manitoba, the local news station, which had heard about the ferry flight, was at the airport to meet them. It was a chance for Dave to get his 15 minutes of fame. Winnipeg also came with torrential Canadian prairie rains and a VOR that had packed it in.
It's 11:30 and we're still in Winnipeg. Steve's up in the cockpit messing around with the VOR head's gone wrong. And having to rebuild little cogwheels in the back of it. And in the meantime, this thunderstorm's blowing in. And it is pouring now. It was really nice the first thing this morning if we could have got away